Welcome. My guest today is Erin Montgomery. Erin is passionate in helping small businesses through business planning that allows you to make decision making easier. So, welcome, Erin.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. I'm excited to talk about this passion topic of mine here today.
Great. So, will you share a little bit about yourself and how you got started?
Certainly. So I've been blessed to kind of be in a entrepreneurial family my whole life. My dad was a CPA for 25 years, and as a kid, I got to work in his company, and I thought it was cool. Other people thought maybe it was forced labor, but that's a different story. But no, it was a really awesome experience to be learning stuff at a young age, and over the years, I've been involved with lots of small businesses, from selling them equipment to being a distributor to actually being parts of small businesses and things like that. And I've just noticed that a lot of them struggle a ton because they are just winging it. And that's certainly, you need to be nimble and flexible, but at the same time, winging it is never going to kind of get you to that success path. So I've kind of, over the last 3, 4, 5 years, I think is approximately how long I've been working on this, really working to kind of bring a package for people to kind of give them the guardrails to success. So I deal a lot in the t-shirt industry, and there's a ton of small businesses there, mom and pop shops that start up as a hobby or a side business, and all of a sudden wake up and go, hey, I've got a business. What do I do? And so it's been really rewarding to get to work with them and see them succeed and do all of that. So that's my quick story.
Okay, great. Well, also when you're just saying, the in the t-shirt industry and how people, and I think that's not only in that industry, but other industries where we start off as a hobby or we start off just doing it on the side and then it
Yeah.
becomes our business. And then we're going, whoa, wait a minute.
what did I just get myself into? Absolutely. Yeah. You definitely see that a lot of places. I've just been really involved in the t-shirt industry, and because there's such a low barrier of entry there, everybody kind of has their hobby, and I made these shirts, and then my family and friends say, hey, that's really cool, you should do that for other people, and you start doing it, and then other people say, hey, wait a second, are you a business or not? And you have to figure that out. So it's a fun process, but it can be a little scary for folks too. So
Right. So why is it so important for us to have a business plan?
yeah, and I think that's kind of the first hurdle to overcome, is to kind of talk people into that part of it. And I think a big part of that is the fact that business plan has kind of got a PR problem. You hear the word business plan and you immediately tense up, you immediately cringe a little bit. That sounds like something that the Fortune 500 companies do, and it's this glossy coffee table book that nobody ever reads, kind of thing. And that's not at all what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, can be named all sorts of different things, but basically, what is your plan? What have you visualized to in your future to kind of be able to get you from point A to point B? So if you're thinking about things, I mean, you could boil it down to as simple as working on your business instead of in your business all of the time. And so, the reason why is because it gives you that opportunity to think through something, kind of experience it in your mind first. So when that thing actually happens in your business and you have to make that decision, you've already got the foundation for that. So you can make your decision quickly and feel confident because you've already thought about it. But as a small business owner, you've got lots of things coming at you all the time. Should I do this advertising? Should I go take part in this county fair? Should I, hire this employee? Should I get this bank loan? All of these would I, should I, could I kind of things. And if you've thought about that in advance, those things are going to be a lot easier, and you're going to be a lot further ahead. And plus, it'll keep you from kind of falling down that trap of making bad decisions because you're just kind of going off of a guess, or somebody told me I should do this kind of thing. And everybody's business is different, so you have to think about how your business works. So that's really the why. Just give yourself that safety mechanism to go forward down that path of success, so you are in a good place to make good decisions quickly and easily.
And doesn't matter what phase our business is in that we should do a business plan?
Absolutely not, actually. I would say, in fact, I've talked to lots of people that have been in business 20, 30 years, and for them to go back and sit down and go, okay, yeah, let me rethink about my business. It's been working, but these new things, the internet's, taking over my business, whatever, the guy up the street, all these kinds of things. There's never a bad time. In fact, one of the things I talk about with business planning is that it is a constant thing. It's an ever evolving thing. And so even if you've done one before or you've never done one before, there's never a bad time to start. And then once you have done it, you just need to keep reviewing and updating it and moving forward with it. The more data you have, the easier it's going to be to kind of review and update. But yeah, there's never a bad time to get into doing business planning.
Well, I know that, as you said before, the big business plans that that we all are very scary for us. But there are simpler business plans, and I think that's kind of what you're talking about. And I think it's so important that we constantly update it, because our business evolves and our business changes. And what you start off and you think your business is going to look like, I know mine changed drastically.
Yeah.
I don't know about yours, but we have to constantly change that.
Yeah, totally. It is an evolving thing. Like you said, most people have this idea of what their business is going to be when they kind of get that inkling of, hey, I'm going to be in business. But like you said, like most people, things happen, things just change and things evolve, and your customers are going to change. Your customers are going to evolve and want different things from you. And if you don't have a kind of a plan of attack, you're going to be stuck doing the same thing over and over again. And that same thing's not going to be working for you. And really, because a lot of people have given me the excuse of, well, I don't want to have this plan because I don't want to be stuck into doing this one thing. And I kind of call them out on that, saying, well, that's not the case. This is the planning part, gives you the ability to make changes because you know what's going to work and what's not going to work because you've already thought about that process. And so it's not about locking yourself in. It is about being able to evolve and change because you have a way to measure what's working and what's not working.
So what are the key ingredients that we need when we're thinking about doing a business plan or creating a business plan?
Yeah, definitely. So, you had mentioned kind of that the big scary business plan thing is out there, and there are simpler versions. There's one-page plans and things like that. But to me, really, there's 5 key ingredients to a, again, business plan, for lack of a better term. I actually encourage people that I work with to come up with a name that fits them, like Aaron's Conquer the World plan or something like that kind of thing, whatever speaks to them. But the 5 key ingredients to me in a business plan is, first, really truly understanding why that you're doing it, why you've started this business. And it could be as simple as, I need to be able to pay for my kids' college or something along those kinds of lines. Or maybe you have a more altruistic reason, I want to create sustainable shirts, or I want to be able to have people share their message through a shirt, or again, shirts where I come from, so I'll use those examples. But really kind of getting true to your why you do this. And the reason that why is A, number one, and B, I think the most important part of this is because you are going to have those bad days, those days where everything seems to be falling apart. And if your why is not strong and clear in your mind, you will pack it up. And you're going to pack it up probably about 15, 20 minutes before you actually reach success. So having that really strong why, that reason why you're doing this is really important, because that gets you over those bad spells, over those difficult moments in business ownership. So that's the first part. The second part is we want to define the people. We need to kind of clearly define the people. And this does a couple of things for us. A, it allows us to understand where everybody's going to fit and work together and play nicely and all this other kind of stuff. And, a lot of times I'll have people say, well, it's just me, or it's just me and my wife, or it's just me and my significant other in this business. Well, it's still really important to get that definition of the people involved in your business down and clear and in paper, and have everybody be a part of that. This could be people like the vendors that you're working with. This could be people like, do I need to hire a virtual assistant to help me with certain things, or all those things. So getting the people defined and involving those people in that process also helps you clarify what everybody thinks their role is. So that way you have some clarity there. So that's the second piece, is the people. The third piece is getting some goals, and you have a great blog post that I love. Actually, I've referenced people to it about smarter goals and getting that kind of thing done. So having smart goals and visions of what the success steps are along the way is the third piece, and just kind of getting real clear about those. There's a visualization technique when you're thinking about goals called VAST, and it comes from a guy named Rory Vaden. And VAST stands for visual. What do you see when you've reached your goal? A stands for auditory. What do you hear when you reach your goal? S stands for smell. What do you smell when you reach that goal? And T stands for touch. What do you feel? Maybe tactile, or what are the feelings inside of you? And if you can get real clear on what you're going to, the visual, the auditory, the smell, the touch, if you get real clear on those things at this point, then figuring out how to get there is going to be so much easier, because your subconscious mind is actually going to work on that stuff for you and get you to that part. So, and then setting those SMART goals. And again, I just would say, hey, go read Kathy's blog about this and you'll get what you need. So, so that's the third part there. The fourth part is our marketing plan. Just kind of getting the marketing basics, what our products are, what our pricing strategy is going to be, who our ideal customers are, how we're going to reach them. Are we going to be real heavy on Facebook? Are we going to be real heavy on face-to-face? Do I have a walk-in business? Kind of just clarifying the marketing side of our business, and having a marketing plan and a little bit of a strategy would be fourth. And then the fifth part is your budgets. In budgets, in a sense of not a, hey, this is a bean counting scenario where I have to, beat myself up if I don't reach the budgetary goals. This is just, to me, the measuring stick of how are things working or are things not working. And so setting those budgets, and within those budgets, I actually call out two things. Obviously, everybody is familiar with hopefully is familiar with doing a monetary budget, and we want to figure out what money we need to spend and what money we want to bring in to reach our goals. But the other thing that a lot of small businesses forget is that we also need to budget our time. How much time am I going to spend on my Facebook marketing? And if I'm only able to allocate a couple hours a week to that, then when I'm on Facebook, I better stay away from the cat videos. So kind of finding those opportunities to use your time wisely. And because that's the biggest complaint of most small business owners that I'm familiar with is, I just don't have enough time to do all of this stuff. So having a time budget is also very important. So with those 5 key pieces, I think you're going to be light years ahead of all the rest of the small businesses out there. And that's all you need, are those 5 things. Now there's other things you can add into it and all that, but that's where it gets scary. So tackle those 5 things in a strategic way, and you're going to be well on your way to success, as far as I believe.
Well, yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about those, the why. I am so opponent of making sure you understand your why, and your why might change through the process. But when we are, like you say, things are going south on us,
yeah.
That why is really important. And it's also bigger than everything else. That why, is generally more important than really the money or anything else. And so I just think it's so important that we keep that in front of us and make sure that that's important. And of course, you talk about the people, our team is so important. And as a small business owner, it's even more important than a corporation that you have the right people that help. We have strengths and we have weaknesses, and to balance those out and not trying to do it all, like I say, wearing too many hats.
Correct. Yeah, it allows you that opportunity to really think about, when do I need to look for, I'm not strong at this. I'm not passionate about, maybe as a small business owner, you really hate doing the accounting part of it, or something along those lines. I'm just calling that out. So when you think about that, that helps you go, hey, guess what? I need to find somebody that's going to do that. I need to hire an accountant. I need to get a service or something like that. And, when do I look for a coach? When do I look for a consultant and things like that? So defining those people is, I think, almost as important as the why. But, between those two things, man, you're going to be really in a good spot.
Right. Yeah. And then, of course, goal setting is so important. One of the things that I always tell my clients that is really important, and I don't know if you believe this or not, but that it's so important to look at our personal goals first. Understand where our personal goals are and then take it to our business, because our business is there to support our personal goals, and they're not really two separate things. They're, you might create them separately, but really the business goals are there to prepare and help you create your personal goals.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I probably don't talk about that enough. As you said that, and that really kind of light bulb went off for me. But I agree with that 100%. There's the point of having a business is to support, and a lot of that's probably defined in your why. And if you can kind of link those two things together, but yeah, I think that's a huge thing to add into that, because those personal goals will carry you through. Plus, if you're focused on those personal goals as well as your business goals, you're going to be able to achieve those personal goals, because as a small business owner, I always joke that you have the right to work every hour of every day. but that's not what you want to be doing. Your personal goal is probably, a vacation or a dream home or something along those lines. And if you're 100% focused on your business all the time, you're not going to get to those personal goals. So I love that. I'm going to write that down after we get done here today.
Well, and then I'll just brought another thought to my mind, and I really have never said this out loud, but I just realized when you were saying that, it took it to another level. We have to have our family support when we're running small businesses.
Yeah.
And if we're taking care of some of those personal goals, then they can be more bought into what we're doing. And when we do need to work those long hours, and when we do need to be a little bit more away from the family, but when we come back around and we're helping the family create, our personal goals, that can be huge.
Yeah. I think that's a really important point, that, like you said, finding that balance doesn't necessarily mean that you're just working from 8 to 5 and then, family. I mean, that certainly can happen and should happen a lot, but finding work-life balance is really about, like you said, focusing on the personal goals, the family goals, and your business goals all at the same time. And different times are going to require different amounts of time. And that's actually one of the great parts about being a small business owner, is you do have the freedom to make those decisions yourself and not have somebody else tell you what your hours are going to be. So.
Right. Yeah, well, I think that is one of the biggest reasons why we do this, is for the flexibility, be able to call the shots when we need to.
Yeah.
So you talked about marketing as number 4. And, I think that is one of the hardest areas for small businesses, because as you said, we get into business, we really don't even know how to run a business. And then to go into a field and have to be responsible for marketing, which is a whole business in itself.
Yeah, totally.
Do you have anything that you can add to that regarding the marketing?
Sure.
Take the fear out of it, maybe.
Yeah, totally. No, and I think marketing is another one of those. To me, a lot of these terms and things that people talk about in business are just that. They're just terms, and we make a lot more out of them than they really are. So marketing is probably another one of those terms that has a PR problem. Like business planning, but marketing, as what really marketing is just being able to get in front of your potential customers at the right times, in the right places, with the right message. And that's really what it boils down to. All of these crazy terms, like I got to be doing A/B split testing and funneling and click funnels and all these crazy wild terms that they throw around out there in the marketing world. To a small business, that stuff doesn't really matter. We don't need to spend our time there. The most important time that you can spend in your marketing is getting a really, really good handle on who your core customers are. Who are the customers that you want to be doing business with? Who are the customers that are going to be the most profitable to you? and who are the customers that you can serve, that you can actually do something for, that you're going to be able to help them, and they're going to love doing business with you. So getting a really good handle on that in the marketing process will take you so far, because then the rest of it is just easy. Once I know who the customers I need to talk to are, then I can easily figure out where they hang out. Are they in a Facebook group, or are they the local moms of second graders, the newsletter or something like that? Where do these folks hang out? What is it that I can help them with? Because really, as a business, our goal with our customers is just to solve a problem for them. It's right. At the end of the day, if you can solve a problem for somebody, you're going to be successful. And if you can solve that problem, they're going to be willing to pay you to solve that problem. So that figuring out the pricing and all that other stuff doesn't really matter. In fact, I found the people that are most successful are the ones that are doing things that they do so well that they have a hard time charging for it, but they do anyhow, because they're like, this is easy to me. Right. You're a productivity expert. That's easy to you, and you're able to help people with that because it comes so naturally to you after working on it very hard as well. But so that's take that fear out of the marketing by getting away from all those crazy wild terms. Marketing at the end of the day is just making sure that I really truly understand who my customers are, what services I can provide to them that's going to help them, and then how do I talk to them? Where are they at? How do they want to be spoken to? What's the most comfortable area for them? And then just getting out there and talking to them. People think about, I've got to have this social media strategy with all this ad spend and all this other stuff. And at the end of the day, don't forget that social media is just that. It's social. It's about having those interactions, going out and being a part of the community that you're serving. And then the business will roll in from there. So I think the scary part can be taken out very quickly if you just kind of look at it in a whole different way and go from there. And then once you're doing those marketing things, then you can kind of do some measurements and go, okay, well, I went and spent time doing X and this yielded me some business, so I should do more of X, or I went and spent time doing Y and that didn't do a whole lot for me, so I should cut Y out. That's what marketing planning is right there. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, it does. And I love that you're talking about taking the fear out of it and just focusing on why you're doing it. It really kind of goes back to your why again.
Yep, totally.
Why those customers, and really doing what you want to do to serve them. And I think that kind of boils it down a little bit.
Nice.
So the last, key you said was budget. And I loved it that you included money and time,
Yeah.
For me, I think and I think there's one third area.
Nice.
And that's your energy.
Oh, I love it.
So I talk about time, money, and energy. Those are the three things we have control over.
Yeah.
And they affect each other. So if we have more time, we have more energy. If we have more energy, we can do more things. If we spend money, we can save us time. They just interchange with each other. So I'm really glad to hear the time part into that.
Nice. Well, that's a great piece. That energy piece. That's huge, because, like you said, if you've got more time, then you've got more energy. And if you got more energy, you can do more things, which gets you more time and gets you more money. And I love that. So I may borrow that. I'll reference you though. Okay, I'm going to borrow that.
So why don't you, before I have another last question for you, but before that, why don't you tell people how they can find you, how they can find out more about you, and then I think you have also a video series.
I do. Yep, I do have a video series. Yeah. So my webpage is aaronmontgomery.info, and just all one word, aaronmontgomery.info. And at that webpage, I've got my blogs and things like that. But as Kathy mentioned, last summer I did a video series on these 5 key parts to a business plan. And those videos are there that you can go back to and reference them. And within that video series, at the end of each video, at the end of each segment, I have kind of a, I don't know, I'm still trying to come up with the right word for it, but at the time I called it a homework assignment, which is another term that scares the crap out of people. So I need to rephrase that. You know, as I've worked with other people, we've maybe called it a mission or something like that. But there's a piece at the end where I ask them to send me an email with different things throughout each different pieces. The first one is send me what your why is. And once they send that to me, then I'm able to take a look at that. I get back to them with my feedback, my suggestions, my thoughts, and then I give them some other parts and pieces that'll help them along, you know, with some templates for business plans, some marketing templates and things like that. So it's been really fun doing that with folks. You know, my goal is to help 2,000 people with their business plan by the end of next year. So that's kind of one of the tools and mechanisms that I use for that. And, you know, I've had people say, hey, can you just send me the stuff? I'm like, nope, you got to do the work, you know, put in your part of the work and then I'll do the work for you. So, you know, I'll do work back towards you. So yeah, check that out. It's aaronmontgomery.info/business plans.
Awesome. So for one last question before we leave. So what's the biggest aha moment that you've had in your business? Maybe something you had to overcome, something you just learned that you go, oh my gosh, if I'd known this, you know, at the beginning.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's really stands out to you?
You know, I think the biggest aha moment for me was something that I actually brought up a little bit earlier, and I think with you is that within my business, I did find that thing where I was sitting there banging my head against the wall with this stuff going, why does nobody get this? Why can't I get this through to anybody? And my wife actually shared with me after we went to a Jack Canfield One Day to Greatness seminar. She said, well, there's your problem. This comes so easy and so natural to you that you don't even kind of make that connection. And so I was getting really frustrated because, like I said, that was really easy to me. And there's a lot of things that are not really easy to me that are really easy to other people. And so I can imagine they're banging their head against the wall trying to explain that to me. And so that was really the aha moment for me, was to be able to step back, kind of really understand what my strengths are and focus on those and being able to share those strengths with other people. As you can tell, I get pretty passionate and worked up and excited about this stuff. So, you know, that was the aha moment for me. Understand what your strengths are, and then, you know, be able to take those strengths and share them with others. And as you can share, the more you do for others, the more you get in return. So I think that was the aha moment for me.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know, and one thing that I learned as I was starting my, you know, my business at one point, and I think it was when I started the second one, and I went to a conference and the gal said, you know, what comes easiest to you, you need to charge the most for, because it doesn't come easiest to everybody else.
Yeah.
And that was the eye opener for me. So it's kind of the same thing, is, you know, we really realize, you know, we don't see it as a gift, what we have to offer.
Yeah.
And when we can, you know, embrace that and then admit what we aren't good at.
And let other people do the part we aren't good at. Yes. Yeah. And I think, Kathy, to expand on that, if you don't mind real quick, the part where you said, you know, that you've got a gift and you got to charge for that. The other thing that I've seen people kind of struggle with and have a hard time with is that they don't understand that they have a gift too. You know, and everybody has a gift. Everybody. Doesn't matter where you're at, what you're doing. You have a gift that you are better at than other people that you can share and provide. So, you know, that's all goes back to that finding the why part too, because probably the why, the thing that you're most passionate about, that's probably your gift. So.
Right. Oh, I totally agree. Well, thank you so much, Aaron, for being here, and hopefully we can have you back on at a later time.
Excellent.
And have a great day.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.